Just like with the delete command, the order by clause can solve some problems for us when used with the update command. Generally, it's a great tool to have when our update might conflict with constraints on a table unless they are performed in a specific order. So I'm going to manufacture one of those things here. This is not a real world thing I might necessarily want to do, but I want to demonstrate why this might be important on occasion. Alright, I'm back in my test database again and working with the People5 table. Let's just review the People5 table briefly. So we're going to select everything from that. And also let's go and just take a look at the description of People5. So we see that our first column, the ID column, is a primary key. We see that right here under the key column, that's the primary key. So we're indexed in that order. And as a matter of fact, we also saw when we selected that we're selecting in that indexed order, because as the auto incrementer is generating more rows, it's adding them in the order in which they were inserted to the table, and so that's the order in which we're going to be addressing these rows, especially if we're doing something that's going to require a full table scan because we want to affect every row in the table. In this case, let's suppose that for some reason we need to increase each of those ID numbers by 1. Alright, so let's try that. I'm going to clear the screen here. And here is a simple statement that says update People5, set the ID column to the current value of the ID column plus 1. Seems logical, right? That's what we want to do. However, we're going to be addressing these in the order in which they occur, and we're going to be increasing this value by 1. Well, we get an error, because as soon as we try to do that with the first one, we try to set it to a value of 2. Sorry, the value of 2 is already used, and this is the primary key column. So it has a uniqueness constraint on it, and that's being violated here, so it doesn't allow us to perform that operation. But we can still perform the operation if we do these things in reverse order, if we start at the highest number and work our way on down. So what we could do instead is add to this order by ID in descending order. And now when we try to do it, it works just fine. 8 rows matched, 8 rows changed. And if we were to go back and look at the rows, sure enough, we're now 2 through 9 instead of 1 through 8. Order by with a limit could also be used for targeting rows for update, just like we demonstrated for deletion earlier in the course. But these are, again, rare cases, so I'm not going to go and show that yet again for an update. It's a great tool to have for those special occasions. Just be sure not to overuse it, or we can inadvertently get into trouble. We might cause more problems than we are solving. I mentioned earlier in the chapter that the update command returns some statistics to us about the number of rows it attempted to update and the number it actually did update. In fact, I just mentioned it again, so I've referred to that a number of times. To complete our discussion on the update command, in the next lesson we will explore this feedback in a little more detail.